Getting into surgery or out of surgery, I think the biggest part was it was a relief that at least I won't die at 40, 45. Moyamoya is a disease, it's a brain disease. And the only thing, so I don't, you could probably see the scar. The way that they explained it is a normal person's getting blood from the base of their neck to their brain in like 7 seconds. And mine was 17. If God doesn't want me to fight again, then that's his choice. But I would be sad. I would be broken. 2 weeks after surgery, I ended up having two seizures. Moyamoya, ADHD, dyslexia. I think that just made it really hard for me to learn, understand. Since the surgery, everything's been getting actually a lot easier. And Dana had an understanding that insurance may be able to take care of it. So he was like, "Yeah, we'll be able to take care of it." And then their insurance declined it. In total, I'll probably end up paying about 30,000, and that's with insurance.
Are you still under contract and stuff? Do you think you'll be able to kind of return to the UFC?
I've improved. I don't know how, blessed, I guess, but I'm ready to show the world.
All right, so today I'm joined by Josiah Harrell. How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. And just to kind of give it a preface of the interview, you have come out of your Moyamoya surgery, planning on making a full recovery. How you doing? I guess coming off of that surgery.
Good. I mean, anyone I think that is going into a surgery, let alone a major surgery like a brain surgery, they're going to have anxiety going into it, and then also trying to figure out afterwards if you're going to be the same person, if you're going to be able to compete and do everything that you would want to do afterwards. So I'm doing as good as I can. Still have the anxiety of maybe the doctor saying no for me coming back. I don't think that's the case, but that's just how my brain works.
Okay. So a little bit of anxiety still coming out of it, but do you feel a little bit better at least knowing that you kind of made it out of that surgery? Like that must have almost been unbearable before that.
Um, yeah,
That's how
I
I
mean,
would take it at least.
it wasn't unbearable. If God doesn't want me to fight again, then that's his choice. But I would be sad. I would be broken. Getting into surgery or out of surgery, I think the biggest part was it was a relief that at least I won't die at 40, 45. But if me trading that life for the life of a fighter is the thing. I don't know if I think I would rather just be like, cool, let me live as long as I can, be able to do what I want to do, my purpose, and I think fighting is what I'm born to do. I think that I would much rather have that and die at 40 than to not be able to fight again. So that's like it's the balance I'm at. I'm in and out of being okay with if that was were to happen. I don't think it is, but I'm trying to make it all make sense in my head. But there is a lot going on, and the only thing I can do is just go with the flow, I guess.
Yeah, so they said that before the surgery, you would probably live till max 45 if nothing had gone wrong, meaning no concussions and stuff like that in the meantime. Because for those that don't know, if you had gotten concussed, they're saying something could happen right then and there, right?
Right. So concussed. I mean, really anything that messes with your blood flow. So drinking, working out, anything that puts me to sleep. But yeah, so the Moyamoya disease is it slowly over time makes it closes off the pathway. So my right side of my neck, my carotid artery, is closing off, and eventually it gets to a point where my body tries to keep up with it. So it starts making these extra pathways throughout the brain, which are really brittle and aren't very good usually. And over time, everything starts to diminish on this side, and eventually I won't have any blood flow. And then, if you know anything about seizures or strokes, those really have to do with the blood flow. And then, usually, to get back to the point, usually around late 40s is when people um, get found dead or already had the seizures or two strokes. That's when they're usually found because this is a rare brain disease, and not a lot of people just get MRIs for the heck of it.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, so it would have just progressed until you're 40 and you would have basically your organs or whatever you call it, your nerves or something like that would have just like capped out. Like it can't get any
Right.
bigger. It just would have like filled up completely. That's crazy that that would have happened to you. But I mean, the fact that the UFC does the medicals and you guys get all those MRIs, you know, that's one of the positive things because you'd even be surprised that some of that stuff doesn't pop up more for other people. You're like one of the only people that that's ever really popped up for. Like you never hear this happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like not even for tumors or like things like that, really. You know?
Right. I think the dopest thing about what happened to me getting caught, I believe LFA now requires you to have an MRI before you fight. So it's like all their promotions are getting to a point where they want to be able to compete with the people. I mean, I doubt it's going to happen, but they're still trying and doing their part. So I think it's dope that LFA's increased their um, awareness around it, and now they require an MRI before
That's a good
uh,
point.
yeah, before fighting.
And then as far as when you kind of mentioned how you were debating, like sounds like you were debating not going undergoing surgery and just continuing your fighting career. Is that almost what you were saying? Like that
No,
was a thought of yours or no?
if I had a choice,
Okay.
and the risk, there I didn't have a choice. I mean, I guess I would have could have went overseas, but I don't know how they do that. So that could have happened, but no, in my head, I'm like thinking I'm always like worst case scenario. So I'm like, if I were to have a choice between being able to live to 45 and not pursue any sort of passion or purpose in my life, compared to being able to live to about 30 to 40 doing what I love and what I think I can be able to do to help others and actually have a purpose and be able to serve, I would rather live in a purpose and live a short life than to live a long life full of emptiness in a way.
Right. And that would have almost happened if you didn't get the surgery, right? Because then you got to probably avoid fighting,
Yeah,
which is what
I would
you
probably
love.
avoid fighting. I would avoid family. I'm not gonna force anyone to have my child and then me be like, cool, see ya. You have so it would be I would just do what I can for others, but yeah, I wouldn't have a family. I wouldn't have much.
And so now, almost having that surgery is giving you more of a life purpose, right? Because you can live out your purpose.
Right.
Because if you're
Absolutely.
feeling like you're gonna like something was gonna happen to you, like you're just saying, you would have avoided starting a family and these kinds of things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then just with the surgery and stuff, where were you at going into it? Because I think you actually had a post and I could look it up, but you could probably tell me. I did read it though. It was like something you said about just like where you were at in life at the time. Do you remember that post you made?
I don't
I could
remember.
also look it up if you want me to real quick.
Yeah, I say a lot of stuff.
You said something about like just like living kind of what we're talking about now, like the life you want to live and stuff. And then just kind of where you're at as far as like being scared about like what's gonna happen to you. But let me find it real quick because it was actually
Okay.
pretty good. Okay, here's what you said. Um, Tomorrow's out of my hands. Today I get to live and breathe. I thank God. I thank the devil. I have no hate for those who don't wish me harm. For those who do, you will see exactly what I'm capable of. I haven't seen a limit. Best believe I will always think I'm nothing. This is what I thought was pretty cool when he said, best believe I will always think I'm nothing special, but I'm certain that if God allows me to, I will reach the heavens. Who knows? Maybe I'll get to challenge them one day. Until then, I'll keep going down the road you have carved out for me. If it's in front of me, I will be a vessel that you can use. I am nothing. Nothing is always there. In the same way you look up at the stars and see nothing, that's the way I view myself. A big milestone for me. I'll remember this forever. Who knows? Wouldn't it be poetic to get my degree from University of Stanford? They gave me a chance to follow my dream. So in return, I'll go back and fulfill my other goal. But mostly that part about nothing is there, and the same way you look up at the stars and see nothing, that's the same way you view yourself.
Yeah. So when I say that, I didn't have the I didn't have a bad childhood by any means. And I know a lot of people had good childhoods, but no matter what, I will never think I'm special. I don't. It took me probably about till about my fifth pro fight to even think that I was capable of doing anything special. And even now, being in the UFC, that doesn't mean anything to me. After I do my thing and win titles or don't win titles, that won't mean much to me. I will I want to leave a legacy, maybe, but when it comes to how I view myself, I know that I must think I'm capable of doing something to achieve anything. Um, but I'll always have that part of me that doesn't think that I am anything. So as I was writing that, I got to a point where I'm like, okay, nothing is perspective. If I think I'm nothing, and really what that means is I just need to make sure I'm putting people ahead of me, in front of me, above me, not quite above me, but at equal terms. Me, myself, and I think I'm nothing. That's the little boy in me. As I grew up to be a man and I got to prove stuff, prove not only to myself but others that I am capable of different things. I know now that nothing is not always what it seems. It's nothing in this sort of term, but if you look on the broad aspect of the stars and space, it's like we can't see that far ahead. So in that point of my life, um, thinking back to where I was a little kid, and that point of my life, that's I see myself how other people have treated me, and then my accomplishments weren't there. So as I started to accomplish things, I still kept the aspect that I'm nothing, but I got to see everything that nothing was capable of. So it's like as I continue to grow and continue to be the man I'm destined to be, I realize that though I think I'm nothing, and that is the though I think I'm nothing, that doesn't mean I get to place a limit that I'm capable of nothing. I still want to see how far I can grow. I still want to see how much I can obtain. It sounds greedy, but I mean that's just how it is. I want to see where my limits stop. So whenever I think of nothing, I don't just think of the bad. I think of what could be as well. So it's just it's more of a perspective piece that I may think I'm nothing, but when we see nothing, is it because what we are focused on, or is it what we lack in either imagination or lack in um, what is actually there? Like, I guess so. There's imagination, and then beyond, it's like how far we can actually see. So when we look up to the stars, you kind of see stars, but a lot of it's just black, and it's beautiful in a way. So you see it, but we know that there's something far beyond that. So when we're looking at the stars, do we say we see nothing or do we see everything? So my nothing and everything is the same for me. Um, but it's more of making sure that I'm balanced in a way. So I know I need to make sure that I think I'm capable of things, and I do. But I also know that I need to make sure I don't put myself in a standard to where I think I can't get knocked out or I can't get hurt or I can't get finished. It's like no, people can. I'm just human. People can do this. So it's a way for me to balance the I guess the demons in my head.
Right. It sounds like it's almost a perspective. Like you used to just believe you were straight up nothing or something like that. But
Yeah,
we all kind of do, right? Like we all come from just humble beginnings, I guess, or like not being much. You know, you gotta everyone has to make a name for themselves. So maybe we all kind of struggle with that. But also the fact that you kind of switched it and you went from like nothing also means like possibilities, kind of what you're
yeah,
saying, right? So like you switched the narrative, like nothing meant nothing before, but then you changed it to where like nothing also means like possibilities in life and like infinite possibilities, like when you look up in the stars, basically. Because
right,
the universe is infinite, right? But I get what you're
yeah,
saying. It's it looks like nothing. But there's infinite possibilities out there. So that's what you pulled out of that, which is kind of cool. You know,
right.
everybody's got to do that, kind of like create narratives for themselves and balance out their minds. You know, like because we're all individual like that too.
Yeah. I think a lot of people we don't really change much as we grow. Like you'll keep like the core part of you, and then you'll learn how to either be more mature, more disciplined. You'll learn qualities and skills that you need to survive and to be an adult and to be successful in your way. But me growing up, that was such a huge part of my personality. I don't think that that's gonna really leave. So instead of me jumping and being that same kid that was like kind of down on himself and did all this, I just kept I just I guess was optimistic in the way there. So now it's uh nothing for me is more of a word of growth. I know that as long as I continue to believe that I'm capable of growing, and that I'm capable of doing things, um, then I will not be stagnant. And that's really what I care about. As long as I can grow, I know what I love.
And then, just because you kind of mentioned it, what happened with your childhood a little bit? Was it like parents and stuff, or just kids didn't really vibe with you in a way, or what was it where you kind of felt like you were less than or something like that?
Um, Mine was more school. Mine was more parents. So I didn't really have a safe. I didn't have a safe place. So mom was bless her, and my stepdad, but um, not as mature as they needed to be when it comes to emotional uh, enough to raise kids. That's going to happen, but they did their best. That's all I can care about, and any care should kids should care about. I'm not on the train of anything that happened to you bad as a kid, whether it was from your parents or your family, that you should hate them. I don't get that disregard of the world or society. I never will. They tried their best. They did what they could, and they did what they thought was best for me at the time. And at the end of the day, it made me the person I am today. So how could I hate that? So it was between school, kind of getting not even. It was more of the teachers that fucked with me. It was more of the teachers that were kind of like, yeah, you're never going to be this. You're this. I had dyslexia, ADHD, and apparently a brain disease that doesn't help with all of that. I think I'd have to pull it up, and I can pull it up later. But when it comes to everything that was going on, I really didn't have a safe space to be me. So instead of uh, reaching out and needing people, I kind of just realized that, okay, this is how the world treated me. This is what I am. So they don't think I'm anything. They don't think I can become anything. That's what I am. And then coming home, and I will say the one thing. There's many things, but one of the biggest things my mom has always done is she's telling me to be myself, and that's actually made me. Um, that's probably one of the best things I ever could have had as a child. Just to have a mom that made me disciplined and told me to do things, and she did fight for me, and she did a lot of things, but um, more importantly, she told me to be me, while my teachers are telling me that I'm not normal and I need help, and they're putting me in IEP classes. And for a long time, I legit thought I was special needs, um, which is funny in a way, but uh, also it's like the teachers are supposed to be the people that are making you and helping you become somebody who can contribute to society, not somebody who wants to attack or diminish or take away from society because of whatever internal thoughts are going on in their head. So a lot of it was from school. Not, a lot of it was from parents and beatings and discipline. But so I had to develop a safe space in my head, and the safest answer for me was I'm nothing. It's okay that they treat me like this.
Mm. That way you probably wouldn't get your feelings hurt and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. So it's
yeah,
like, yeah. So especially with ADHD, I don't know if people know. I mean, a lot of people do, but if you don't, uh, rejection sensitivity. So it's like me not being good enough hurts, and the good thing about that is I'll do whatever I can so I don't uh, become not good enough. So it's like a lot of my work ethic and a lot of my things that I do are for me, and it's selfish in a way, but I do a lot of things, so I guess so I don't have the potential of being rejected. Um, but I mean, now I know more about myself now, but it makes me work harder. It makes me move. I get to a point where I'll have 3 or 4 sessions a day and just be happy that I was able to do it. And really, in the back of my mind, I know it's because I'm scared to get scared I'm not going to be good enough. So it's actually very good way for me to push myself, even past being tired, past being the broken and hurt or scared that I'm going to get hurt. It's like, no, I'm more scared that I'm not going to be good enough compared to scared of not getting hurt. So it allows me to have a weird sense of uh, um, like a motor that just doesn't stop really.
Yeah, it gives you some extra motivation, which
Right.
everybody has, right? If you had like that perfect childhood, probably wouldn't have that motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with the surgery and stuff like that, how's your recovery been? And all that, like you've been in good spirits. Have you dealt with any like speed bumps down the road of this journey? Because it's been what, since January? So
Right.
we're about you said January 20th, something like that. So close to 4 months removed. But how's this 4 month journey been for you?
4 months have been, I mean, it seems like it's taking forever. And then I go and look back and it seems like it's flying. So I'm like in this weird space where I'm like so impatient, and I'm trying to get better at being patient, but I'm so impatient that time's kind of slowing for me. And now I'm getting to a point where I'm trying to open up and just realize that come June, I get cleared, which is 5 months, not 6 months. But thank God, I'm not going to complain. Um, but when it comes to surgery, or not surgery, but recovery, the only bumps we had were the first week after surgery. So I didn't get any, and I'm not going to blame Stanford's more of my fault. I probably should have changed my sheets or not been around many people. But so the week after, 2 weeks after surgery, um, I ended up having two seizures.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, I called them, I was breakdancing, just trying to do the worm, doing the jig, however you want to explain it. But um, the first one I didn't really know was a seizure. So I'm laying up, I was downstairs and I noticed that I slurred. And I'm like, well, why am I slurring? And then I'm like, hmm. So, and then I started not feeling well. And eventually I got hot. So I was like, let me go lay down. And I went to go lay down. And instead of laying down, I was like, oh, let me read. And then as I'm reading, I'm literally reading through the story. And then as I get caught into it, I get to a point where I'm like I can vividly remember, like, I'm like, my body started like getting into this, like this shake. And I got to a point where I thought I was in the story. But then I remember one of my roommates was coming up the stairs, and I was like, should I say that something's wrong? And then as soon as I thought that, I started having my seizure. And during my seizure, I was like, I should have said something. And I'm just going off of it. And I'm sticking, and all my muscles are like flicking out. And thankfully, I didn't bite my tongue off. But while I was having a seizure, I thought it was a stroke. So I was like, don't fight it. And the biggest thing is I didn't want to get half my face stuck. So it's like I still wasn't worried about me. I was just worried about how I'd look. So I'm like, I'm going through it and have my seizure. I'm like, you can't fight it. Your face will get stuck. So I'm doing this, and then I get up and I go downstairs, and I'm like, that was weird. So then I let one of my roommates know, and they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, I have no clue. So I didn't know. And then about a day later, literally the next day, I was golfing, and we were on the 13th. We're pulling up on the 13th hole, and on the drive there, I remember getting like a motion sickness again, and I'm like, ugh. And Sonny, my uncle, gets out and he's driving, and I'm like looking over towards him, and I can already feel my face contort, and I started getting hot and cold before, um, and I was like, oh yeah, I should have told him. And uh, as soon as I was like, yeah, I think I'm about to have a seizure, I just looked at him, and my face got stuck, and he's about to swing up at the tee, and I have my his friends yelling Sonny, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. And apparently I'm like, so you can't control much, and not to mention that time flies. So I don't know if it's just me where time flies, but like I thought I was there for maybe 30 seconds. They said I was seizing out for about 3 minutes, and
Oh
I'm
wow.
like, oh, yeah. So I'm going there. They're behind me, making sure that I don't fall out of the golf cart. Sonny's coming here, and he puts his arm around me. And at this point, I'm like, don't put your arm around me. I'm already having a seizure. So I'm like arguing with them in my head. And then they take me to the hospital, or they don't take me to the hospital. They call the ambulance and they put me in that. And I look at something and I go, do not call my dad. Whatever you do, don't call my dad. And he goes, I already did. I go, don't call my dad. He goes, I already did. I go, why? And then ambulance people pull up and I'm pissed off now. That man doesn't need anything else to worry about. So the ambulance people come up and they're like trying to help me out. I'm like, I don't need help. So I walk up, sit down, and I'm just grumpy. And then they take me to the hospital, and then we get everything figured out. Eventually, they figure out that I had a staph infection behind my left eye. So from the though that they screwed into me, one of those screws got infected, and I think it was either from me placing my head on the mat, um, just from being there and watching and hanging out, or from I mean, at the end of the day, I think antibiotics could have helped. That's what they ended up giving me, some antibiotics, and then we got it all figured out. But a lot of it was I could have just been at home instead of been at the gym. But I think I would have. I think I probably would end up having a seizure anyway. So uh, without those antibiotics, but yeah, we got it figured out. And then within a week, I was fully back to myself and did a lot of things. And they gave me seizure medicine that I end up cycling myself off of, and like 3 weeks a month. They weren't pretty happy about that, or they weren't happy at all about that. But
Oh,
we've
they
been
want you
good.
to keep taking it like blood thinners, I'm assuming, or something.
So blood like aspirin is something that they want me to take. I haven't been taking that either. But for seizure medicine, you have to cycle it off a certain way. Um, Otherwise, it's not safe. So like they had me take 2 pills, and eventually I'm like, okay, I don't feel like anything's happening, and I also don't know, and I also would recommend no one do what I do. I'm not the smartest, so I end up going, okay, so here's 2 pills that I have to take a day, and then a week later I was like, how do I feel? And then eventually 2 weeks later, I got to a point where I was cycling to 1 pill a day, and then eventually half pill, and then so I just went week by week. In about a month, a time span, I went from taking the full um, pill I was supposed to take, and then I ended up going down to a quarter of the pill, and then eventually now I just have pills in my bag that,
You don't take.
yeah. In my head, I was like, yeah, I'll just keep the pills in my bag, and if I feel weird, then I'll take them. But it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Whenever I went in to get my checkup for the seizure medicine, she was like kind of upset. She was like, well, you know that like you having the pills on you aren't going to save you. And I go, I thought they were. I thought if I was going to have a seizure, I could just pop them in and I'd be good. And she, no, it doesn't work like that. It's a preventative measure. So I was a fool, but somehow it worked out.
Yeah.
Now we're
So when you went back, she's like, "Are you still taking your pills? Do you need more or something?" And you're like, "No, I'm good. I'm like I cycled off it, and like if anything happens, I got it in my bag, so I'll just take it if anything happens." She's like, "No,
yeah,
that's not how it works."
you're right. She was free. Well, she was like, well, there's no point. You should be that. There's no point of you being here. I mean, it was supposed to. I was there so she could cycle me down. Um, but I was like, yeah, I was just being considerate, I guess. So
You're like, "I already did it. Sorry about that, kind of."
yeah,
That's funny, man. But I get where you're coming from because it probably affects training, and you're trying to like be active, trying to be recovering and stuff. But
right.
one question I have about that like staff and stuff is, did how does the staff correlate with like you getting the seizures?
Oh, okay. So I mean, one, it's around my head.
Uh-huh. So it's
Two,
just like a little bit extra stuff going on. Plus, you had the surgery too.
right. So the thing with surgeries, staff can cause seizures, but especially it being around the head, that's one like a symptom that could happen. Me just having brain surgery could cause seizures. Not to mention, I still have Moyamoya disease that can cause seizures. And there's stress can help cause them as well. So there's like you have all these different things that are going on all at once, and right now my body just is not knowing what's going on. I still have my head probably like that fat, trying to heal. Everything's trying to heal, and then now you add an infection in my head, so now all my shit's coming over here and trying to heal that. But no, it basically just got to a point where my body couldn't handle it.
I see. And your immune system's suppressed and all that too, because staff. So
Right.
yeah. Wow. And then you just said something about your surgery too. So you still have Moyamoya?
Yeah. So Moyamoya is a disease. It's a brain disease, and the only thing. So I don't. You can probably see the scar.
Yeah.
So in this scar, what they end up doing is filleting my head open and taking a vein, and then taking two pathways. So now I have a pathway up here. Hopefully my hairline comes back, and then now a pathway back here as well. So now my right side of my brain is getting blood flow, but it's like from my face, and they screw in it. So they're going through my skull, and then I have like a hole like that, and then they go two different ways. So I have a piece or a vein connected up here, and then I have a vein connected up here. So it's like this right now is still incurable as a disease, um, but I'm sure that eventually they'll figure something out.
Right. And so were you saying also what we were kind of talking about earlier? Now that you had the surgery, are they saying like you'll be able to live a full life, or is there still this kind of thing going on where like, you know, it's still progressing as time goes on, unfortunately?
Yeah, I mean this is going to progress, but now my blood, the blood flow is good, so I should be able to um, help. They basically just bypassed the Moyamoya disease. So now I'm still getting blood flow in my brain. I think the way that they explained it is a normal person's getting blood from the base of their neck to their brain in like 7 seconds, I think. And mine was 17.
Okay.
So so it was just taking forever. And if I didn't in my head, if I didn't have like the heart that I do have, like as an athlete and constantly pushing myself as a cardio, I wouldn't have a strong enough heart to push the blood through these to get there. So it'd be even slower. But yeah, I should have a full healthy life. We don't know what's going to go on, so who knows? Maybe I get stabbed running one day or
Well,
something.
hopefully not.
Yeah.
Well,
Also,
no. Yeah.
but who knows what's going to happen with life? I'm excited for it.
Okay. So in other words, too, though, it sounds like it's more of a timing of the blood issue. Like the fact that you still have this going on in your neck, it's not as much affected now because I'm assuming they've sped up the time from where your heart can push blood into your brain. So it's not 17 seconds anymore. It's less than that.
Um, no, they haven't messed with anything over here. So the only thing they did is allow blood to flow. So now instead of blood flowing from the base up, my blood's flowing from here down and filling throughout. So it's
Uh,
yeah, so it's they took so there's a connection up here and on my brain, and there's a connection over here. So now blood flowing, connecting up, and then now it's working its way down without getting in the way of the Moyamoya disease. And then this side still works normally, so I'm still getting blood flow up in here. So it's more of they bypassed the Moyamoya, so my brain that the part of my brain, which is every part if you ask me, but the part of my brain that needs blood flow is getting it, and then it's working its way down.
Interesting too, because for people who don't know it, I'm only slightly well versed on this. So, but also you need the blood flow to come down because if you don't have blood flow, then that basically like kills whatever is there, right? So the fact that you're getting blood flow down is helping you out as well.
Um, I'm not quite sure. I'm I know that I'm still getting a small amount of blood flow here, so this is still working. But if
Yeah,
you're asking like if I didn't get blood flow to the part of my brain that if it would diminish, that
yeah, that's
makes
what I'm saying.
that makes sense to me. But also, I'm just constantly pulling things out of my ass and seeing what sticks. So I I doubt that. I mean, I would if anyone's listening. I'm not a doctor. Do not talk to me. But it would make sense that that's what would happen.
Right. Just because I've seen other people where they have surgeries and stuff, and like basically after the surgery, if there's no blood flow going down to it, then they basically have to lose the limb or something like
Right.
that. So that's where I
Yes.
was kind of piecing it together from. But just about the surgery and all this stuff too, because it's very interesting. Like when you were younger and stuff, you said that you were dealing with like ADHD and like dyslexia and stuff. So
Mhm.
do you think that somehow your Moyamoya was affected by that stuff, and maybe you could come out of this not to say more intelligent, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like you could
Yeah.
live a better
Yeah.
life maybe because you don't have to deal with ADHD or dyslexia if that's a repercussion of all of this?
Yeah. So the biggest thing when it came to me is I was not very good at reading. And then I'm getting better at controlling my. I don't know if it's because I'm getting better at being more disciplined, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting better at controlling my impulses. Either way, um, I am getting better. I don't know if it's because the blood flow, my brain's actually getting to where it needs to be, and the left side's more. I think the left side's more creative, and the right side's more like logical and all this. But I know Moyamoya, they have. Um, so I have the list of symptoms right here. So let's see. I'm gonna have to find some more, but this is problems with learning and development. Or Stanford at? And I know that a lot of Moyamoya symptoms and ADHD overlap. So just either doubled my problems, or I had ADHD. I had Moyamoya, not ADHD. So who knows? I have symptoms of both, and I am getting better at controlling myself. So maybe it's just that the overlap of the Moyamoya stuff is starting to go off, and now I can start getting to a point where I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want that, or I don't need this, or I don't. Let's not get ice cream today, because that's like a big problem. But I like ice cream, but it has, and I've noticed uh, a lot of things going on. I read more. I don't even know.
I was going to ask that too, because you said you were reading, but then in the past you said you were dyslexic. So I found that interesting that you're
Yeah,
hanging out reading after your surgery, but it's not something you seem to be very good at.
right. So
Yeah.
it's. I mean, now you just get to a point where it's like, as long as I don't quick look at something, and I'm able to stare at the words, I can figure out what it means. But if I'm like looking and looking away, I'll scribble those around, and then I'll say it. It's probably about a month ago. I was walking past um, the deli um, place, and I looked at it, and I was like, why does it say idol? And in my head, it's like the words are mixed around. So deli and idol have the same letters, but I legit I was like, what do you mean idol shop? It's like it doesn't make any sense. There's meat, and so it's just walking around, and I had Jaden. He fights. He'll soon be at my level when it comes to being in the UFC. Um, he was laughing at me and making fun of me the whole time, but it's like, so I still have those problems, but I think the overlap, and then with Moyamoya and um, Moyamoya, ADHD, dyslexia, I think that just made it really hard for me to learn, understand, and not only that, I'm excited and I'm distracting. So it's like, for a teacher, that's hell, and I get it. But as since the surgery, everything's been getting actually a lot easier, and I am noticing it, like major differences in my focus, and also tasks, chores, and stuff that I used to like. I used to hate hanging up clothes. I'm like, okay, let's just get it done now. So instead of me like talking about it, I just get it done. So it's actually helped me. Surgery has helped me become more disciplined.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool that that's able to happen. And I kind of thought that that might be a thing. The first thing I was thinking was there's been other cases where people might act on impulse and stuff like that. So I don't know, did that ever happen to you, or like were there any things that even happened in your childhood that might have like stuck out to you after you found that out, where you're like, damn, you know what? Like I did this kind of, and maybe like this had to do with the Moyamoya or something.
Yes. So here's the symptoms: weakness and numbness in legs or arm, difficulty speaking or understanding language, visual abnormities, problems with balance, TIAs, temporary stroke-like symptoms, or seizures. And then whenever I think about my past, I'm like, okay, so dyslexia, IEP, like they legit thought that I was special needs. I almost dropped the R word. But in that way, I was trying to figure out how to understand language. Like people that, and with my joking personality, they're like, you're lying. You know what's going on, but I just did that for attention. I joked for trauma and attention, but when it comes to like everything that was going on, I look back and I go, okay, my very first football uh, 40, the very first one I ran, I ran about 35 yards and I face plant. And to this, until I learned, I blamed it on the field not being balanced. But it's like, but then you go and you go, okay, problems balancing. I go, okay, it wasn't a level field, or did I just not have the balance that I needed at the time? Or you'll go and see like I guess you can have them in football, but you get those like numbness down your arms or down your leg. Like every now and then that would happen. But I just called them stingers from football and called it a day, which I think they were. But my biggest ones were difficulty understanding language and speaking, and then also like everything else was maybe once in a blue moon. Like I don't really remember visual abnormalities. I don't remember other than me messing up on that 40 problems with balance. So it's like you take what you can get from it. A lot of mine was learning and understanding. But now we're to a point where we are getting better at doing both. So it's good. Who knows? Maybe I come out of this an Einstein.
Yeah. Get your Stanford degree, like you said in that one post, right?
Right.
Yeah. So a couple more things about the surgery, and then we can kind of get into making your return and all that shit because, yeah, there's some stuff with that as well. Like you're a beast of a fighter to talk about. So aside from that, though, real quick, UFC, did they cover the surgery and stuff like that as well? So like you're
Um,
not kind of dealing with any financial issues there, or
as far as I know of, no.
okay,
Financially, I am as broke as it gets, but it's like I get to live my dream. Like I get to do it. I think is my purpose, and that for me that is good. I'm not really concerned about what I have or what I don't have. Maybe that will change after a couple UFC fights, but as of right now, I'm not very materialistic. Um, and I hope I'm not. I hope I stay. At least that part of me stays the same. But when it comes to my knowledge, I don't think that the UFC has helped anyway. Maybe whenever I have my first fight, Dane will help me out and do that. So who knows? I know he's a man of his word, and he's staying. So I'm not too worried about it.
okay. I guess just I'm not too I don't know the ins and outs, and maybe neither do you to the fullest extent. But is that something like where you talk to your manager and they said like they don't have to cover it, or did they say
Right.
they would help cover it, or kind of what was the deal with that at all?
I think the deal on their part was Dana had an understanding that the insurance may be able to take care of it. So he was like, "Yeah, we'll be able to take care of it." And then their insurance declined it because it was a disease that I was born with. Um, so not really his fault either. So it's just getting to a point where that's just how insurance companies are, and they're trying to save money, and it's a hell of a surgery to save money from. So they
Wow.
can't.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, and you hear that a lot about insurance these days, and just the whole medical system in the first place. How it's I'm not going to call it a scam and all that, but that's what people kind of call it. So just to make that clear, though, the UFC sounds like they pushed for it, and they're like, "Hey, we got this guy. We did an MRI on him. He got Moyamoya. So we would like to use our insurance to kind of cover him." And the
Right,
insurance came back to them and was like, "Unfortunately, it's not under your guys' plan," which is crazy too because they're the UFC. They got one of the best healthcare plans in the world. So
right.
if it's not covered under theirs, the average person is screwed who would come down with Moyamoya.
Right. Well, yeah, it's well their insurance is based off of things that happen in fighting. So like
Oh,
they couldn't prove or do anything. So like an average
okay.
intern will be able to do it, or should be able to.
But because it
But
wasn't in the octagon is
you're
almost
right.
what happened, right? So it's
Yeah.
not that you're born with it, I guess. It's that you were born with it and it didn't happen in the octagon.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And how much can you like say a ballpark or like how much this thing costs and stuff, and if you have to pay out of pocket or how you've been able to kind of cover these expenses because people might want to, know, and if they know, maybe they want to help you out too or something like that.
Um,
If you don't feel comfortable, that's fine too.
Here, yeah, no, I'm. So the good thing about me and what I want to do is I want to bring awareness, openness, just show people that anybody famous is normal. It's like don't put these people on a different pedestal just because you don't have what they have. Money wise, they haven't sent me the so I'm paying the first bill that they sent me, which is like uh, I think it was about 5 grand. Um, but so my insurance, I believe, uh, they had a max payment of like 5,000 or something like that. So each MRI, I think I've had three. Each MRI is about 5 grand. The surgery itself, I think I'll have. In total, I'll probably end up paying about 30,000, and that's with insurance. Um, Maybe more. Hopefully, hopefully not. But it's like at the end of the day, it's my life, so
Thirty
it's
thousand out of pocket, you're saying, with insurance
yeah,
covering the rest of the other stuff.
right.
Okay, and go on. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, but it's like right now, just pretty much I have a payment plan, and who knows how long I'll be paying them. But I mean, that's all you can do. So it's just adding. It's almost just like debt at this point that I'm attempting to pay off slowly. So, but I think that it's like I still have uh, two more tests I have to do. Actually, three. I have a checkup at the end of the anagram, and then I have a MRI. Those are the June 18th, 19th, and then the 21st. So hopefully they don't ask me to pay anything out of pocket because that will not be fun. But we'll get it figured out.
Yeah, your insurance probably will hopefully cover some of that.
Yeah, they'll pay some. They'll cover some of it, but um, yeah, I think the first MRI was about $16,000, and then it covered it down to where I only owed like about 4 grand, 5 grand from it.
Okay. So luckily though, because sometimes, fighters got a crazy life. Luckily you were insured ahead of time. So when the UFC's insurance fell out, I'm assuming you were just able to fall back on your insurance, or were you not insured and shit like that? You had to get it.
I wasn't insured now.
Okay, that's what I was saying too.
Yeah,
It's a rough life you guys, live.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it was luckily my stepdad, God bless him, he is a teacher, and he helps um, teach at Columbus. What is it? Um, he helps like with body work, and he's like a body shop instructor for people. Um, but his insurance was able to take me in, and then I just needed to wait a month. So if we could have got it done sooner if I had insurance, but we had to wait a little bit for that to kick in. So
Right, because you're also a young guy. I think you were 24 when it got diagnosed, right? And right now you're
right,
25.
right,
So that's why you're able to kind of squeeze in there.
right,
Now you're not
yes.
on it, huh? So you got your own kind of deal going
Uh,
on.
I'll be on it until I'm 26.
Oh,
So
26, is that it? Yeah. Okay, for sure, for sure. Well, that's good to hear. And then, I mean, like, are you, well, before I say what I was about to say, which is like a one performance bonus, 50 grand, really changes everything for you. But are you still under contract and stuff? Do you think you'll be able to kind of return to the UFC, or any update on that?
as of right now, last time I checked, I have 4 fights with the UFC, and I don't see any reason why they would take me off of it. I still get to prove myself. Now, if they throw me against some monster, beautiful. I'm excited to show the world, and not only that, but myself what I'm capable of. But if they want to bring me up slowly, also beautiful. I want to be as active as I possibly can be. Uh, as long as I'm not injured, I think I want to get a fight lined up. But who really knows? So as of right now, yes, I'm still in the UFC, but also I think they can terminate the contract at any moment. But I don't think they have a reason to. And they know that I'm down to pretty much fight anybody. So at this point, I don't see why you would not like um, me. It's like someone who's good, someone who's willing to lose, and someone who's entertaining. I think that is I think it's a good way to become a star in this field. So I think that think they'll hold on to that contract.
Right. I think it would be a great story. You know, you're a young guy, you got a great record to you. And this all kind of happened under their cameras anyway, so there's a lot of promotion for your return. I guess the only, like, to be a devil's advocate, and for people who probably are watching who have questions too, I would say that maybe, have you had a thought that if the UFC is like scared of taking you on as a liability or something like that? But I guess if your doctors clear you, what can they say? Like,
Yeah,
the doctors
right,
are saying you can fight, right? Like, you're allowed to come back.
right.
So
Yeah,
you're not too
that's
worried about that then.
well, no. I mean, at the end of the day, they're a business, and if I can bring money in, then beautiful. As long as they are not liable for me getting hurt, then why would they care? And then where Stanford comes in, got the best doctors in the world. They will sign off. They will keep their end of the bargain. And then now the UFC is not liable anymore. Now they get to make money and they have a story. So it's just like, as long as you have a story, you can tune it in any which way, um, to make sure they make money off of it, and they will. They're smart. So uh, maybe a part of me is, I know a part of me is scared that the doctors won't sign off on it. That's terrifying. Um, but I mean, what can you do? So that, I mean, when it comes to the UFC not doing it, I don't think so. When it comes to the doctors not doing it, yeah, there's a part of me that thinks that.
Are they apprehensive when you bring it up to them at all? That gives
No,
you like any pause for it? So they're not, they're on
yeah,
board with you returning kind of when you talk about
right,
it.
yeah. I think it's the fourth. I'll be the fourth person to return to fighting um, after Moyamoya. Maybe, or maybe it's active. Maybe it's but I know another person, Vince. Um, so I know he's fighting and he had Moyamoya, so or still has it.
Okay, and then the last thing about this, and then we'll talk about making your return is was the UFC able to maybe suggest any doctors to you by chance? Maybe that's a stupid question, but again, I'm not super well versed in insurance and stuff. Were they able to recommend a good doctor that you were able to go to, or did you have to?
Yeah.
Were you on your own with that?
No, UFC, my manager's management, they figured out everything. They already made the connection with Stanford, and then the only thing that was happening is, with the problems of me not having insurance, we couldn't really get it figured out. So they made the connections in the first place, and then eventually, I was like, "Cool, I got insurance." Sent it over. We figured everything out, scheduled everything, and then did that. So it's like, without them or Vince, it would have got to a point where I was like, it would have been a struggle trying to find someone who's not only willing to do it but willing to sign off. That would be the hardest part
Right.
after
So
this of the major brain surgery.
yeah, having the UFC as like a cosign to like take you on or something like that helped, right? If you were just going to Stanford by yourself, you're saying they might not have taken you.
Oh no, they would have took me.
Oh, okay.
I just wouldn't have known about going to theirs, because there's plenty of Moyamoya doctors around Ohio. Not plenty. I mean, there's I want to say Cleveland Clinic has as Moya doctor that can do the surgery. So I'd probably end up doing that, because why fly out all the way to Cali if you don't have to. Um, in this case, I did have to, because they are already known for being able to sign off and have signed off on people after surgery, and that's all I cared about. I'm like, cool, surgery gets done, it's a little bit more. Not only that, it's the best people in the world. Dr. Steinberg is absolutely amazing. So being able to do that, and now get to a point where it's like we're a month away from everything being, uh, who knows? I mean, a short notice fight would be dope,
Nah,
but
let's get you. Come on, man. Let's get you a training camp going. No,
whatever we need. They act like I've really been off. I really haven't been off. I've
I've
maybe
been seeing you train. I'm not even discrediting it. I'm just saying, like, why not give you a full camp to come back? Like, let's give you the best opportunity possible.
Yeah. I mean, that's if I didn't train. I mean, that's all I do. I
You just
really
want to
don't.
come in there and shock people real quick, because that's why
I
a
think
lot of
that's
guys
what
take
it was.
those short notices. I noticed that. I noticed that for sure.
I think that's what it is. I think that it just adds more to the story when it comes to what is wrong with this kid. Why would he do that? Why take the risk? And I think that's the biggest reason is, the risk excites me. It's what keeps me going, and if I can take it, then I will. So uh, I'll let whatever's going to happen happen. If I happen to get get an option to fight short notice, I'll do it. If I get the option to fight a full camp and do all that, I will. But my camps don't change. I'm still training. Like I don't lighten it up. I don't stop training. I'm training um, three, 2 to 3 times a day, sometimes four every day. So it's that's all I do. I don't go out much. I went out last Saturday, I think, but I don't go out much. I really, other than fighting, I don't really have an urge to have more friends. I don't have an urge to do anything else. This is what I do, and as like total, I've only really been out a month. Like even when I got the you got Moyamoya disease, cool. I still was training, and is there like you have a chance to come back? You just need to get surgery. So my in my head, I'm like, cool. Just staying active. There's risk, but I was already doing this before that. I knew about it. What's the difference between me training now and knowing what could happen, and training then and not knowing what happened? So we got to a point to where that's all I did: trained and get better. And then now I think I've taken a total a month off.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to pause this real quick. I'm about to piss myself.
Okay, go for it. All right. Um, what's it called? You were just talking about how you're going to come back and all that, but I did want to end that last thing by just giving credit, because there are sometimes people pile on to the UFC for not taking care of fighters or being fighter first and stuff like that. Not to say that they are fighter first like the PFL does, but
Right.
credit to Dana and them, because really, like we just talked about, you weren't on their insurance because it wasn't covered. They could have just been like, okay, yeah, see you later, kind of, and let you figure it out. But they took it upon themselves to find you doctors, and the fact that they were even willing to put you on their insurance and give it an attempt, that's what it's about, right? Just giving you
Right.
guys that care that you guys deserve for putting your life on the line. And I just want to bring that up too, because I don't know if you saw this, but I saw this yesterday, and it kind of it's one of those unfortunate stories. But Sabah Hamasi from American Top Team, he's one of Dustin Poirier's teammates, and he broke his hand in his last Bellator fight or something like that, Bellator Dublin. And then because the PFL sale happened, he's no longer under contract with Bellator. Bellator basically told him to pay for his surgery and they'll reimburse him. But all that happened in between the sale, and now he's out of money. He didn't get covered for a surgery that happened inside the octagon with
Mm-hmm.
Bellator. And so now it's like PFL doesn't want to cover it because it was like before this stuff, and now Sabah's out of this, and it's unfortunate. So I'm just putting that out there, all that to say that it is really, in my opinion, cool that the UFC was helping you and giving you the best care possible, because your guys' lives mean a lot, and
Right.
like you said, you I don't even know how you're kind of paying for all this stuff, but it's very difficult to even like pay for it and to make sure you get the right surgery and not have to do all these follow-ups and stuff. Um, I do want to give them credit for that, for sure.
Absolutely. No, it's I really can't complain about much. They did what they could do, and that's all you could ask for. So I appreciate them. I appreciate my managers, my management. They've all helped me out so much. So it's to the point where the only thing I can do now is heal up and get to pay it forward and put on a couple shows for them.
Yeah, and you got to focus on like what you want to do and stuff. Although you are dealing with the financials and stuff. Do you mind if I ask that last part? Like, how are you planning on paying for this? Because maybe if people hear this, you can get help for it or something like that too.
Um, pay. I mean, now that's the balance. So it's for me. Hopefully, or the thing that makes the most sense is getting back to fighting and then just taking whatever I make from fighting, half of it to taxes and the rest of it to paying off everything. So it's like realistically, um, if everything goes to plan, we can start paying it off by this year and getting it done. But I don't do anything other than train. Like I don't work. So I mean, I
You don't have
coach.
other ways of making income, you're saying?
Well, yeah, I do. But
Okay.
with coaching privates, I make enough for living for my bills and all that. It's not a lot by any means, but I also have tons of good people around me, so they try to help me where they can, and I always feel guilty whenever they do, and then I also remember that they're just um, doing what they can for me, and I appreciate them. So when it comes to financial, like any man, I will figure it out. But uh, I'm I'm not that I'm not concerned, but the financial part of it, I'm not too worried about. It's like eventually, I know I'll be making more than enough money to pay it off, and at this point, it's just about being patient. So
Right. At least you have an opportunity seeming like it's waiting for you at the end of all this.
right,
It's not like you have to still go and earn your way to get signed to the UFC. Then you might
right,
be considering some taking on
yeah,
some other shit, right?
right.
Yeah.
And that's also why I don't mind taking a short notice fights. They've already done so much. I do need the money.
That's what I was gonna. Maybe I was wrong because I'm over here acting like you got 3 months to train, but maybe
Yeah,
you want to take on that short notice just to get that money and then be able to kind of settle in, have a good
yeah,
training camp, not be stressed. So I see that too.
right. Yeah. So the stress plays a big part of it, but yeah, no, I think it's a win-win-win for me. I think that the if it was a short notice, I think the aspect of people being like, "Why would you do this?" I like that aspect of it because it adds some sort of uh, some not animosity, but it's just like it gets people there. It gets. What do you mean he just got cleared? Why is he fighting in a month? I think that's not only that. It's UFC gave me the chance. Why would I wait? So there's that, but that could also just be me being impatient, and also the part that people aren't going to expect that I've improved. I've gotten way better. And I got to use this time off not to spar. I still spar, but I use that time to develop, and not many people do that. A lot of people in my shoes would have not only felt bad for themselves, but they would use that time to party, to enjoy life, to get what they can out of it. They could use it as an excuse that God wants them to look it around and be present, which I did, but it was more of let me get better. Let me shock the world and see how good I can get in this next year. From last time, I think my last fight was July, no June, June. My last fight was June of last year, so it was like almost a year. But I've improved. I I don't know how blessed, I guess, but I'm ready to show the world.
Okay, cool. And I guess you got any names you want to fight? Because I mean, just to give it a preface, maybe it'll spark something in your mind. But because you were gonna fight Jack Della, and
Yeah,
that was short notice, so I don't know if you're just gonna get that right away because he's been winning.
right.
But then Basil Hafez came in and put on a great fight. You based off your guys' resumes, it's arguable that you could have put on a better fight, and that was a very close fight. But
Mhm.
aside from that, anybody at 170 or maybe off that matchup that got your wheels turning as far as somebody you want to return against?
There's people at 70.
Where are you going to be
Cool.
fighting 85? Where are you going to be fighting?
Oh, I'm like 5'7", my guy.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering because it's your return to
Yeah,
short notice. So,
I don't care how thick I am. Yeah, uh I can make I can make 70 on a short notice. I will. So if they want to give me a ranked opponent immediately, I would be happy to oblige and to show that I am able to compete with those guys. If they want to start me slow, I do not care about the name. They give me somebody that's going to push me. I want somebody who's going to push me. Allow someone to show me what I am capable of or not capable of. That's what I want to learn. So I want to fight the best. If they said here's Jack, I would fight Jack. He's good. I know he's good. That's what excites me. The thing is a lot of these people think that you need to start slow. It's like cool, start slow, but that's not me. So if the UFC is going to make me fight an unranked guy because I am unranked, cool, I understand that. But I'm here to fight the best guys. I'm here to show that I can and am the best. I don't care about names. It's numbers. These guys are numbers. So give me the biggest number in front of me. I'm going to take them out.
okay, gotcha. So I guess there is no particular name, ranked or unranked, that stands out to you other than
Nobody
Jack.
Yeah, nobody excites me. I like Jack. I tough. He's there. It's at 70. They're all problems. Gilbert Burns would be dope. Um, Islam would be dope. Dustin Poirier would be dope. It's getting
Those
to a
guys are
point where
lightweights.
yeah, I am a lightweight. I'm a
Oh,
lightweight.
you'll fight lightweight too?
Yeah,
Okay. Oh hell
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's getting to a point where I want to fight the best, and those are the biggest names. Why would they fight me? So like me calling out those guys, Justin Gaethje, uh, those guys, they have no reason to, and sadly, I don't think I'll be able to fight them because they're heading off. They're going to get their last couple of fights and they're going to be out. So by the time I do make it up there, um, they'll be legend. They are legends in the sport, but that's what I'm worried about. I want to fight the best. It's like, yes, most people want to fight Patty. I don't think he's that good. So it's just like he does what he needs to do, but it's his jujitsu's the most exciting thing about him. His striking's all over the place. His wrestling's not very good, but his jujitsu is very exciting. Other than that, like unless we're gonna have a grappling match, it's not gonna excite me. Um, he's tough. I mean, but I don't know if you want to be proud of being tough. Uh, so it's that's where it's getting to. It's not that I don't know these names because they don't excite me. If I seen somebody, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's dope. I want to fight him. That like Volk is that he's so good. Ilya showed he has power. I don't know how good Ilya is though, and I think that's a good thing as well. But it's just like I say Volk because he went up to 55. I'm not making 45. But those are the guys I want to fight. I don't want to fight people to get another name on my or number on my record. I don't care about how many wins the guy. I don't care about how many losses the guy. I want to fight
Well, you got
people who
none.
are me. Right. So
You got
that's
no
where my
losses. Okay, fair enough. And just yeah, so I mean, man, I'm not too happy with myself about that. So about mixing this up. So wait, you signed with UFC to fight Jack at 170, but your whole career has been at 155.
I've had five I've had four fights at 55 and the rest around 70.
Was your
Um
last fight before UFC 70 or 55?
it was 160.
Oh, 160, so like a catch weight or something?
Yeah, I ended up missing weight, but yeah,
Okay.
it was so I had about 4 weeks, about a month to make weight. And to make 55, I need about 8 to 12 weeks. So if we're fighting at 55, I do need that long
That can't.
time to make weight. Um, but if we're not fighting at 55, then I can make weight. I can make.
Okay. And usually the UFC kind of seems to be based off some other fighters who have like spoken with as well. The UFC seems to be they like to stick with something where they sign you. So the fact
Yeah.
that you signed at 170, are you thinking that they will probably end up wanting you to be at 170 for the first
Oh,
couple fights?
I mean at lightweight. So
Oh,
they
they
signed me
signed
at
you at lightweight because
lightweight.
the whole Jack thing. That's why I'm kind of confused. But it's good we're getting to this.
Yeah, so they signed me at lightweight. And Jack needed somebody to fight, and I told him I would.
Okay. So it
So
could be lightweight.
yeah, lightweight. I could be the first to move around a little bit, and I'm not opposed to that. I'll be as active as possible, whether it's fighting short notice at 70. If there's people that are scared to fight, I'll step in. And if you want me to put on a camp and take 3 months to make weight, then I'll do so. Really, 3 4 months, but it's yeah, that's how it is.
Okay, gotcha. And then so I got a few more for you, and I want to say thank you for the time.
Absolutely.
If you have somewhere to go or something, just let me know. But I'll try to keep it down to like 20 minutes if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to give you time to talk about your career and stuff up to this point. I don't want to rush it and stuff like that because it's important. But so right now you are, let's see, you are 6-0, but you also went 5-0, one draw in your first amateur fight. So really, you got like, you know, 11 fights, right? Or 12 fights. And you're also very confident as you're kind of stating right now. Where do you get all this confidence from as far as your background and stuff? And I mean, it's probably a record. You got a ton of finishes on here, barely any
Yeah.
decision wins. So where's all your confidence come from?
Most of my confidence comes from me being able to prove myself and push myself to the limit. It's like you got my coaches now with Tim and Dave. They are amazing when it comes to information and everything that I need to be, and they do push me. But being able to uh, have one of my main training partners be Matt Brown, he doesn't quit. So it's like you get to a point where it's like you have to get into this mindset of it's not even really confidence for me. It's just what am I capable of? It's always asking myself. So it's just like I wanna push myself. If I don't care about I guess that could be confidence. I don't care what people think. And then to do what I do, you have to be able to think you can do something. So being in with Matt, I have changed my confidence from, okay, let me just try to trick people, to now I'm moving to, cool. I still enjoy the aspect, that the art of trying to catch people off guard. They think I'm a wrestler. They think I'm a grappler. They think I'm a striker. It's like, cool. I don't care what you think. You think I'm just orthodox or southpaw. It's like, cool. I don't care what you think. Like, I fought most of my fights southpaw, but it's like, and a lot of people don't even know I can fight orthodox. But it's just like, cool. I just haven't had to use that. So when it comes to my confidence, a lot of it has to do with how people react. And eventually, I had a lot of my people quit. I mean, Tracy Reeder quit. The guy before that quit. Um, I think my second bro fight, he didn't even make it off the stool in the first round. So first round, boom, doesn't want to come in the second round. It's like those are the things that give you confidence when you're like, really? I didn't think we did anything. And you're constantly asking yourself. So it's the confidence is for me, but a lot of it comes from training constantly and push myself constantly with my people at Grove City and also Matt. And it also comes from me being able to show results of people just giving up. And that was before we even put on the pace or got to the deep end or anything. So it's like it doesn't quite make sense to me. And uh, the biggest thing is if I think if I know what I think I'm capable of, I am I'm not only capable of being the best, but I am probably one of the biggest problems in the UFC, and I haven't even fought yet. So the thing about that is you have to believe you can do that. And with me, we talked about it earlier. I also think I'm nothing. So it's like I want to be able to prove myself. If people want to watch that and do that and watch me fight, beautiful. But the biggest thing is I want to prove to myself that I am nothing, or I'm better than nothing. I am something. So it's just like that. That's what I'm pushing for. So I'm going to beat the biggest guys. I want to have the biggest fights. If I get paid for it, even better. But it's like even if I didn't get paid for it, I'd still be here. That's the difference between me and somebody else. Most people are here for money. It's like I never had money, so I couldn't tell you that I needed it. So now we're getting to a point where it's like, yes, I do have a possibility of getting and obtaining money, but I don't care about it. Maybe later, whenever I'm like, oh, this is nice, we can have a different conversation. But as of right now, I don't know anything about having money. So it's like just because I'm not fighting for money. I need the money to pay off bills, but it's like I'm not fighting for things for me. That's where people are I'm different. I'm here to prove um, that I am capable, and if that means I'm going to hurt some people's feelings, so be it. I'm saying and speaking my truth. If they don't want to believe it, beautiful, fight me. So it's getting to a point to where I get cleared in June. If it's a short notice fight, beautiful. If it's 6 to 8 weeks, somebody at lightweight's gonna have a bad day. But I'm here to shock the world, and I'll say it and say it again. It would have been with Jack, and that would have been beautiful. But we'll have to wait for that fight.
Yeah. Here to fight. You're not here to make money. I know, not to discredit, but there are people in the sport, right, who come into this as a financial endeavor. But the real fighters definitely stand out in the fans' eyes. They definitely pull themselves apart, as their careers go on. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something about oh yeah, like your pedigree, right? Your martial arts pedigree. Because you're confident guy as well. You're also young. But where did you get all your training from in the beginning, and what's like your base? I'm assuming wrestling and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But just tell me like how your pedigree, and then how that led into MMA for you.
um, yeah, I really didn't. So I wrestled since about sixth grade. I think about 12 years now. But when it comes to what got me into MMA, I really wanted to do it when it first came out. I was about 16, and my mom did not like that. So I wasn't able to get into MMA until I moved out of that, until I about 2021, 20. So at 20, I was able to start training in MMA. And then right around, I think, right before I turned 21, I had my first fight, and then that first year I had 5 fights in a year. So it's like just very active. But when it comes to um, what my career brought me, it was more of the universe just brought me together because I ended up forgetting about it. I like football more than I like wrestling. If I had a choice, I would be a football player. But then you go and ask yourself, what would happen? Would you, if you were a football player, would you have been able to get an MRI? Probably not. Well, why would I? And you go and ask yourself, like, okay, so if I didn't have the MRI at 25, when do I get it? And if it's at 30, beautiful. But if it's at 40 or whenever I get done with football, it's like, is that going to, would that have played a, a price? Would I have paid a price for not getting it as finding more and more as early as I did? So then I go, okay, well, I see. So to get to your point, I think that the world brought me back to fighting. I think that I was brought up in a violent household, and I grew up wanting to be that, and then a part of me was scared of what I would be capable of with violence. And then as I grew into my own, and as it became more mature, I realized that there's two ends to violence. There's the people that are fighting to hurt, and then there's people that are fighting to protect. So I'm to the end of protection. I want to be the good part of this, but I think that as a person, I was born and made to fight, and that's why I've improved so quickly. I've really only been training MMA for about 6 years now, and wrestling has been my base. And for my AMI career, that's all I did. And then as I started to figure it out, I got to a point where it was coming together. But I would see that my skills that I've developed in the room weren't quite showing in my fights yet. And then now that um, like my last fight, now that we got to a point where my skills are slowly starting to catch up, and I am able to put on the performances that I like, and still keep a good pace, and still be dangerous everywhere. Um, that it excites me. So there's not much I can say to tell you other than me being able to learn quickly and being a freak athlete. There's not much I can say to say that uh, I've been training longer, but I haven't been training long. But I know that I am capable, and not only that, I know my mind is capable of going places, and I know other people are too. But I also know I'm capable of tricking you, and I'm not here to be a physical specimen. Am I fast? Yes. Am I strong? Yes. Am I explosive? Absolutely. Do I want to use that? No, I don't know why, but I don't. I want to try to beat you with my mind. I want to try to beat you with pace. I want to try to beat you, if I can, by you quitting. And then we will see who's tougher. Then we will see who's more athletic. And if we're rolling that athletic die, it's going to be me. So I've been blessed. I can't really complain. I've out athletic everybody my whole wrestling career, and I learned what that would get me. It didn't get me anywhere. So now coming into fighting, I brought that aspect, and I go, I don't want to beat people with my athleticism. Am I going to? Yes. But I want to beat people because I'm a technical monster, not because I'm a physical monster. So then I started adding the mind games and that. So I went into MMA with a different mindset because of my career in wrestling. I uh, I was good at wrestling, still am, but I am better at MMA because of the mindset I took coming into it
Mm-hmm.
from wrestling.
Fair enough. And also, that's when you say you want to make a guy quit, that's that Matt Brown rubbing off on you, because
Yeah,
that guy's
yeah,
a savage, you know.
yeah.
So most of the being a lightweight, having Matt Brown as your training partner, a beast at 170, like you know, just based off that alone, you're going to be a big problem at 155 for sure. Even 170, there's a lot of guys that Matt could still beat today. I know he just announced his retirement, but you know, he was still knocking guys out up to last year.
Right.
I was gonna say something else though. Oh yeah, about the wrestling, because you're kind of almost like brushing it out. Like I know that you just said you've been fighting for 6 years training MMA. But did you wrestle in college and stuff, or like what are some of your achievements in wrestling? And by the way, I just want to put it out there, because I like to say this now. I said it in my last interview with Joaquin Buckley. Uh, the Midwest has the best fighters in the world, and it's been that way for a long time. And you're from the Midwest, so
Yep.
the fact that you even grew up wrestling in 6th grade, the best wrestlers come from the Midwest. So it's
Yeah.
not, it's just a little bit different. And I just want to also say this, just for myself, because people be like, "Oh, Russia's got the best wrestling in the world," which they're very good. They're second best in the world.
Hmm.
Um, but to that, I would say all the Russians, right? Because even they'll be like, "Oh, in MMA, it's the best for MMA." Well, then why do all the Russians come to the U.S. to train? Why don't any U.S. fighters go to Russia to train?
Right.
I think personally, it more has to do with like, growing up in America, a cushy life for a lot of guys. It muddies down the waters a little bit. But the beasts that come out of the Midwest is just like the beasts that come out of Russia, is
Right.
my full roundabout way of saying it. But
Yeah.
your accomplishments in wrestling.
So I had I made it. So freshman year, I made it to districts. Sophomore year, I made it to state, and then I didn't place. Uh, Junior year, I ended up getting in a car accident, and I still ended up trying to go. I made it to like an alternate, and then my uh, senior year, I placed fifth as a D1 house Ohio State wrestler, not Ohio State, but in the state of Ohio.
That was
I
in
never,
high school.
yeah. So I when I say I hated wrestling, um, I did. I didn't like cutting weight, and now I'm fucking cutting as much weight as you possibly can. But I didn't wrestle in college. I'm going to end up going back to college. Who knows if Stanford has a Stanford or Ohio State? I'll say that because if I am a hometown guy and I don't want to leave. If Ohio State, if we come up with something and we make the first student athlete where this is the first athlete that comes from a different sport that these colleges don't have, and brings me in as a student, I think we could work something out. But I didn't wrestle in college. I had one semester in college, and even now, I'll have to get to a point. I don't even think I can transfer. I think I'll just have to start over, and I'm fine with that. So I didn't wrestle in college. I wrestled in 6th grade, and I had a duck under. That's the moves I knew, which is kind of like going around the back. But when it comes to MMA wrestling and folk style wrestling, completely different. I am a better MMA wrestler than I am a folk style wrestler. I never liked to tie up. I didn't like to hand fight. There's a lot of feints, and I had a good blast double, and I was explosive. Um, but you add MMA wrestling in there, and I turned into a different monster.
Especially with Matt Brown and Mark Coleman. I mean,
Yeah,
the Godfather of the ground and
you,
pound.
you still got some good guys in there. You got Josh Parry. He's a fucking beast when it comes to striking. He'll be up there. He's a LFA. He's had 3 or 4 fights at LFA, and then we have another guy at 70. He's fucking good. He's hurting right now, but Miles and Miles is also good. So we have a good room up there. I have a good room at Grove City with Jaden and Michael Arietta and a lot of those guys. We have a good amount of people in the Ohio area that can push and move. Um, but we have everything we need. I don't know if you know this, but one of my main trading partners is Dante Leon. And luckily, listen and uh, between him and Matt, there's not a lot of people, and Coleman, there's not a lot of people that can say they have a better coaching staff than I. The only problem is Matt just retired, so my coaching staff, along with Tim and Dave Freetag, they're all active except for Mark, obviously. But I think he won a boxing fight. But no, it's Dante's one of the best grapplers in the world, and he brings up his team, and I'll go up there anytime I can. I need to go up there more. Is what it needs to happen. But um, we I have every avenue checked off when it comes to um, coaching people I can learn from, and also the aspects of me being able to grow. I can grow in jujitsu. Dante's a freak. Um, Matt is amazing when it comes to his Muay Thai, and not only that, his experience and knowledge. Mark's experience is crazy, and then you have the different outlooks that Tim and um, Dave Dave show, and it gets to a point where I'm taking the best things from everybody, and I'm making it mine, and that's where it gets scary.
Right. And they're battle tested in the top premier organization from the beginning of time, you know, with Mark Holman. Then you get the new generation, Matt Brown. Now you got, you know, you and the guys you're coming up with are the new generation. That's what I mean with the Midwest. I'm from California, like Southern California. And you know, you got Uriah Faber up north in NorCal and stuff like that. And you got Nate Diaz and stuff in NorCal. But in this area, you know, it's not, you don't got the original UFC champion out there, or like a Matt Brown, really. Like, I'm trying to think of the one guy. This is where like Moyamoya is and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to discredit. I'm just saying the Midwest is dope. You know, like people,
Mhm.
a lot of American fans and stuff should really start to take notice. It's kind of a lost, you know, piece of history that people don't like to talk about anymore. But the Midwest has been this way. Even that's where Dan Gable's from. It's just, it's a hotbed. So you got a great coaching staff to you. I guess I'd like to kind of, well, first of all, because I'll say this too. Sometimes I'll be trolling, you know, with the like just saying it so confidently that the U.S. is the best. It's obviously neck and neck with Russia. It's very close every time in
Right.
the Olympics. But what do you think about what I was saying about Russia and the U.S. and wrestling and shit like that?
I think when it comes to longevity, Russia is a step ahead. But even then, we'll have our freaks when it comes to people that can do it forever. Um, but when it comes to the best, I think America has that short and sweet gap where a lot of people can't be beat. It's like Jordan Burroughs for the longest. How, who knows how long he wrestled? Like he's beating Russia. He's beating the best. You have like America's lineup when it comes to what we do. It's very hard to beat us. And when it comes to the Midwest, I won't even say wrestling. I would say athletes. We have some of the best athletes. See the guys that wrestle and come out of. I mean, you could pick a sport, and see where those guys start up or went to college and where they've developed. It's the people in the Midwest for some reason. Our development is insane. So,
Michigan, you know, all these
yeah,
states, Ohio, yeah.
yeah. But when it comes to wrestling, I think longevity, Russia guys will win when they're in their late 30s, 40s, which is crazy. And then America, it's like we will win at 22, 23, which is also crazy. So when it comes to um, having that run, I think that's the real difference is the way that Russians do it. They're more playful, and um, they have um, they have their own style, but I don't think that they become as dominant as we do. I just think that they're able to last longer than we do when it comes to um, like the body. Like the human body can only take so much, and I think they have a good. They have the same outlook that ties do. So the ties play around a lot, and they play spar with no shin guards and barely any gloves, and they're having fun. In America, we don't have we don't have much fun when it comes to like getting shit done. We're just here to work, break our bodies. Who cares? And get it done, which makes us good and it makes us um, able to compete earlier with the best. But when we get to a point that we like, I would say probably about 28, you're not seeing a lot of wrestlers. You're not seeing a lot of people competing at that level because they've beaten their bodies up so bad. So I think the only thing that Russia has on us is longevity, and even we have some freaks that can hang with people being a little older. But I don't think that. there's a lot of people that can compete with what we have in America.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll finalize this topic, and then I'll have one thing just quickly. You can just wrap it up about your goals for the year. But I just want to say too, like, Daniel Cormier, one of the best fighters of all time, right? American wrestler, NCAA, wasn't even a champion because he was always in there with Cael Sanderson.
Right.
But one of the best fighters of all time, and then John Jones, a JUCO national champion, not even an NCAA, and
Right.
one of the best fighters of all time. You got a guy like Michael Chandler. You know what I mean? You got these guys. So I think people forget sometimes, the new fans, they get hyped up about the Russians. But I'm really not trying to discredit, but I'm just saying they need more time to prove that they're the best. Like, the Americans have really already proved it in the past. Even go back to Mark Coleman. These guys have proved it, the original UFC champion. So, yeah, I just kind of want to put that out there. But with that being said, I want to conclude the interview by just kind of letting you lay out your goals for this year, because words are powerful too. And so yeah, what are your goals for this year, and what are you looking to get out of life kind of after the surgery for the next 12 months after you get cleared?
Boom, the next 12 months, if I can. I'm gonna say it now. So we get a short notice fight, we win that, we get a fight after that ending in December. So short notice fight, and then we get a full camp in December. So I would like to have 2 fights by New Year, if I can. I'll leave it up to fate. And then when it comes to competing, I would like to make me have a new contract. So I have 4 fights. If I can get that all done in a year, it's going to be hard, but we'll go with 3. So we'll make it real easy. In 12 months from now, I would like to have 3 fights in the UFC. And working on a ranked opponent. It's if I don't get them right away, at least I'll work for it. I'm not afraid of hard work. So ranked opponent, and by the end of next year, start from top 5 to winning a belt. So I'm putting a timer on it, but give me 3 years. 3 years, I want to be at the top of the division with something shiny around my waist.
For sure. And then gonna probably start off at 170, right? But then make your way back down to 155 for the remainder of time, or what are you thinking?
Dana's the boss. Whatever he wants.
Whatever they want.
Yeah, if he wants me to fight 70, I will. If he wants me to cut the weight and get to 55, I will. So whatever he says, I'm obviously confident in what I can do, but I'm also quite the servant. So if he wants me to fight at 55, beautiful. If he wants me to fight at 70, beautiful. Either way, I plan on having 2 belts. So 55 is beautiful. If they make a 65 weight class, get the hell out of here.
It's been getting some hype.
Yeah, yeah. So who knows? But yeah, I know what I'm capable of, and I'm excited to see also where my limits are. Yeah, that means I'm reaching for the stars. I don't care about what ifs, what coulds, and what has beens. I want to do it. Words mean absolutely nothing. I want to show that I'm the best, and to do that, you have to fight the best, and you have to do that in a spectacular fashion. So that's what I'm here to do.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we'll leave it at that then. 2 fights by the end of this year, right? And then
Sure.
get you up to that title fight by the end of next year.
3 years, 2 years.
Actually, 3 years you said, right? But I was gonna say one thing, and I just want to throw this out there because you're saying you're the servant and stuff like that. So let me just look out for you a little bit, if you allow me to. Because you're saying you want to get a ranked opponent. You got 4 fights on the contract. So just the business side of it, I'm thinking. I'm thinking for you, you get the 3 fights, right? You can always renegotiate, as I've kind of noticed, before your deal's done. So after 3 fights, you turn in 3 good performances. 4th fight, you get the rank guy. Maybe renegotiate after the 3rd one. Get paid to fight the rank guy before you hop in there. Just a little, instead of just saying yes to them all. Yeah. Just trying to help you out a little bit there.
Good news about this is my management likes making money. So
okay, there you go.
They will keep the money side up. So they will argue for me, and I think that's what is better. So I will still have the same, and they could renegotiate after the first fight if I absolutely go viral again. I don't know if you've seen me going through the cage, but I'm pretty sure that's the reason why I'm in the UFC now. If they do it after the 2nd fight, beautiful. But my management company will keep me on that end, so I don't have to worry about it too much.
All right, for sure. Just lastly, what'd you do to go viral? I didn't see it actually.
I went through LFA's cage door.
Oh,
So
yeah, I know what you're talking about. You took
yeah,
him down
so
or something like that?
yeah, it was a double. So I'm talking to his corner, and uh, that corner was like, "Watch out for the Leon Edwards," or they told him to do the Leon Edwards. So then I did it to him, and then I pointed at his corner, and then whenever I faked, I went low, and then I shot a double, and we went through the cage, and then he ended up in his dad's lap, and I just turned around and go, "Woo!" And then the ref wanted to start us back on the cage. I was like, "No, we'll be all right."
Yeah. Okay. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So, got some excitement behind your name. Maybe it'll go viral again. Never know, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Well, hey, it was nice meeting you and getting to know your story and stuff. I'll let you train. I won't reach out when you get your fight booked, but after your fight, we'll do another interview hopefully and talk about everything in between from now until then.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, brother. Well, have a good one and good luck in recovery for the next month and stuff like that. And I hope to see you get everything you're asking for because, like we've just kind of talked about in this interview, life is short in this sport. And I'd like to see you get your worth and everything you want out of the sport for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, of course, man. All right, brother. Have a good one, man. Thank you.
You too. Take it easy.